weird. I was doing it. So you listened to the circle notes. The circle notes were okay. It was just ellipse day one that was funny.
Because you, I don't know, you're like messing with it, and you're like, okay, I think I got it, and then you turned it off.
Okay. All right. So here we go. We know that this is not a circle Y. It's equal to 1, and really it's because our denominators are not the same. The denominators are different, which means we're going to be wider than we are high. Okay? So that's going to be a real big thing about determining whether or not we have an ellipse or a circle. Because if I gave this to you, if I said x minus 3, this is actually a circle. Because I'm going left and right the same amount as I'm going to go up and down. Neither number is bigger, right? So we don't really have a major or a minor axis. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So, center. What's my center? 3, negative 1. Just like what we did with circles. It's the opposite signs. Okay. What is the major axis going to be? Going to go left to right. And the minor will go then up and down. What is my A? How many units left and right do I go? It's going to be the square root of 25, which is 5. And our B is going to be the square root of, which is 4. And C squared is equal to 25 minus, which is, and so C is equal to, which is 3. Because you need to know the basic formula, which is major axis squared minus minor axis squared is focal. So, right, your focal point represents your C. Okay, we're going to graph this. Because we have found none of our points. I've simply told you how to get to those points. Now, yesterday, our center was where? 0, 0. Now our center is at 3, negative 1. This is my center. We said our major axis is left, right, or up and down. How many units from the center do I go left and right? How many units do we go left and right? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one endpoint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my other endpoint. So to come up with my coordinates, I'm going to take that 3, aren't I? My starting point of my x value, and don't I add 5 and subtract 5? But my y value stays the same, right? To get my 2 points, I'll take 3 and add 5, and I'll take 3 and. So what I get is coordinates of 8, negative 1, and negative 2, negative 1. Are you fine? Now, I want you to, and you'll see why as the numbers get harder. Okay? Our minor axis. From our center, we went up how many units?
4.
And down? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I need to come up with my coordinate, it's going to be 3 and then negative 1 plus and minus 4, right? Because the 3 stays there. We're moving up 4 units and down 4 units. So our coordinates for these are going to be 3, 3, and 3, negative 5. Right? Because negative 1 minus 4.
I'm not like understanding. I mean, it needs like because the numbers are easy, but I
because we're going to be dealing with square roots. And so I want them exact. And so you need to be able to show me the work as to why this works. Okay. Yep. All right, so we know that it's looking like this. And our focal points are 3 units to the left and the right, correct? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Which means we're going to take our center and we're going to add and subtract 3 units, right? And still stay at -1. Our y value is not changing. We're going left and right. So that's why we get 0, -1, and 6, -1. We want all the coordinates. Okay. Make sense? We okay? Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. What's my center? My major axis, left, right, up, down. Are we okay with that? Which tells me my A is what? Okay, stop me if you don't understand what I'm doing. This is A squared. Minor axis then means we're going left and right. So what is my B? Yes? Okay. We say major axis squared minus minor axis squared is the foci squared. So we're talking about our foci, which is our C. So we get 32 is C squared. So C is the root 32, which is 4 root, which for graphing purposes is approximately what? So for graphing purposes, we want that little decimal. But for writing coordinates, I want it exact. Okay? Now, we need to find these coordinates, okay, but we're going to plot them to help us. I do think it's easier to start plotting and then think about major axis and, what are we doing? Does that make sense, Rachel? So, major axis is up, down, right? I want to go up 6. So that means from my center, if I'm going up 6, what do I add and subtract 6 to? The x value or the y value? Yeah, so 2 comma -3 plus and minus 6. Because I'm going to go up 6. And I'm going to go down 6. The y is going to change. Yes. So that means I'm going to get 2, -9, and 2, 3. Because I'm going to simplify those values out. Yes? Okay, minor. Minor means I'm going left and right how many units? And so that means from my center, what am I going to add and subtract my B to? My x or my y? Your x, because I'm going left and right, correct? So it's 2 plus or minus 2, but the y value of my center stays the same now, right? Because I'm moving left and right. I'm not going up and down. I'm going left to right. So we're going to go left 2 and right 2, which means our coordinates are going to be 0, -3, and 4, -3. How we doing? Does this make sense? Now my focal points are along which axis, the x or the y? Which means that C, which is 4 root 2, is going to get added to the x value of my center or the y value of my center. The y. So we're going to go 2 comma negative 3 plus and minus 4 root 2. I start at the center. I go left 2 units and right 2 units. And so we're going to really go up and down about 5 units, right? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. So 5 and a half. So we're almost down to the vertex, the vertices. Get confused? Yeah. You might want to try using a different color for your focal points so that you don't get them confused. Okay. Is this good? Okay. Because those are as exact as they go. And that's why I wanted you to show in the previous ones why we're adding plus and minus is on the movement that we go. Okay. What's wrong with this problem? It's not in standard form, right? How do I know by looking at this if this is even going to be an ellipse? Emily? Okay, in a second. Okay, you're right. It's not in standard form. By just even looking at this, though, we know that this is an ellipse. How do I know that? These coefficients are not the same. Therefore, it's not an ellipse. I mean, it's not a circle. It's an ellipse. Okay? Okay? Uh-huh. Yeah, you can. But the coefficients will be the same, Emily. 4x squared plus 4y squared. We have a circle. We had one in the example, I think. We're going to have to complete the square on these. Now, this is really picky, and I want you to watch what I'm doing. We're going to reorder everything like we did before. Put the x's together, put the y's together. Yes. Correct. 4x squared plus 40x, I'm using different colors here, plus 9y squared plus 72y equals negative 208. Okay. What's the first rule for completing the square? What has to be a 1? The coefficient must be a 1. Is this? You can't in this case because, nope. We're going to pull the 4 out. Now, if I pull the 4, and I'm just talking about my x's, wouldn't you agree I'm left with x squared plus 10x at a 1, 2, because I'm completing the square. So I need to have an x squared and an x, right, Rachel? And what would I pull out for this next one? Yes. Yes. Would you agree so far? Now, I'm going to complete the square with the x's. And I just look what's inside parentheses. So I take that. What do I multiply by a half? Take the 10, multiply it by half, get the 5. Put my little bubble over that. Take the 5 and I get, now, hold on. I got a 4 here, and then I have x squared plus 10x plus 25, right? I just completed a square. Would you agree? What did I really add on that left side? In the parenthesis, would you agree I added 25? But on that side, I added what? 100. I added a 4 times a 25, right? So what do I add over here? What do I add over here? 100. I'm going to do 4 times 25, which is 100. Again, in parentheses, I've added 25, but I pulled out a 4 at the very beginning. So for the left side of my equal sign, I have really added 100 to that side. If I were to redistribute, wouldn't I get 100? You following me? So this, as a completed squared, is 4 times what quantity squared? X plus 5. In a minute, we'll figure it out. Okay? Now we're going to work with the y's. We're going to take the 8 and multiply it by a half. And we're going to get, and we're going to put our little cloud around it. And we're going to take that 4 and we're going to square it and we're going to get, and so I'm going to have plus 9 parentheses y squared plus 8y plus 16. But my question to you is, again, what did I really add to the left side? Which is 9 times 16, right? Which is 144. No, I'm adding 9 times 16. 16 in the parentheses, but 9 times 16 to that side. Because it's not 16 that I'm adding to the side. It's 16 times 9. So this is 9 times what? No, y plus 4 squared is equal to, what is this all equal to? But what is it? Is it 36? So this and this and this give me that. Now again, do I have a circle or an ellipse? What does an ellipse have to be set equal to? What do I do? Divide everything by 36. Right, so then I'm left with x plus 5 quantity squared over what? And y plus 4 quantity squared over equals, and now we have a problem that we've been doing, that right? That this whole, our first two problems were like. So, what is my center? Right, what is my major axis? Left, right, or up, down? Which way? Okay, which tells me my A is what? Okay, that means my minor is up, down, which tells me my B is what? Are you good so far, guys? So that means for my focal point, it's going to be 9 minus 4 is C squared, 5 is C squared, so C is square root of 5. Right? We're doing the same thing over and over again, correct? Okay, so start by plotting your center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Focal point means we're going left and right 3 units. So to come up with our coordinates, we're going to take -5, and where am I going to add this 3 to? To the -5 or to the -4? If I'm going left to right, yeah. If I move it along the x, then I add it along the x. Okay? So plus and minus 3 comma -4 tells me I get -8, -4, and -2, -4. Right? And then our minor axis, that's an up and down movement. So that means the -5 stays there, but the -4 gets added and subtracted the 2. Are you with me? Is this making sense? So that means I get -5 and I get -6, or I get -5 and I get -2, because I'm going up and down 2 units. Now my focal point, it's going along which axis? Because it's the major axis, right? So we're going to add it along the x. So that means I'm going to take the -5 and I'm going to add and subtract square root of 5, right? And then I'm going to say, but the y value is -4. So what's square root of 5 approximately? Just 2? Okay, so we went a little bit more than 2, right? So we're going to go left a little more than 2 and y a little bit more than 2. Need to go over that a little more? So you got to keep asking yourself, if I'm moving left and right, then I'm adding it to the x. If I'm moving up and down, then I'm going to add that value to the y. You just keep asking yourself that stuff. Okay?
Ellipse day 2.